Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So we have another batch of payments right around $1,800 going to many beneficiaries of Social Security today. We're going to be going over who those folks are, and then we're going to be looking at the rest of the payment schedule this month, and then possibly even looking at the payment schedule ahead in the month of August as well. Also, we're going to be looking at some recent statements that presidential hopeful from the Republican Party, Ron DeSantis, said his plans to save Social Security would be if he were to become the next president of the United States. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so Ron DeSantis, of course, is a presidential hopeful from the Republican Party. Of course, he has a steep hill to climb if he wants to surpass Donald Trump, who is clearly the front runner, at least within the Republican Party. Now, DeSantis, before becoming governor of Florida, of course, he was in Congress. And in Congress, he came out in support of different things within Social Security. So, for example, he wanted to raise the full retirement age up to the age of 70. And he also wanted to at least partially privatize parts of Social Security. So, of course, right now he is actually getting slammed quite a bit for those ideas. So he's trying to sort of change, his viewpoints on Social Security. And now he actually has a new plan to save Social Security if he were to become the next president of the United States. So we're going to be watching a short clip of him here, kind of explaining what he would like to do. Watch.
Let me get to a couple of issues. You've said that Republicans are not going to mess with Social Security, but as a congressman, you've voiced support for privatizing Social Security and raising the retirement age to 70 for future seniors down the road. What made you change your mind?
Well, I've always said, promise made, promise kept. I'm a governor of Florida. Of course we're going to protect people's Social Security. My grandmother passed away when she was 91. That was her sole source of income. Yeah. And that's true for millions of seniors. And so that goes without saying. So when people say that we're going to somehow cut seniors, so that is totally not true. Talking about making changes for people in their 30s or 40s so that the program's viable, that's a much different thing, and that's something that I think that there's going to need to be discussions on. But that's just the reality in terms of where I've been. So I don't think it's necessarily a change. And in terms of privatization, what I always said was you aren't going to be able to offer individual accounts because there's no Social Security surplus. There used to be massive surpluses, and the thought was if you let people divide, now that's gone. So that is totally not on the table. Yeah. We got to make sure that we preserve it for our seniors.
So before, whenever DeSantis was in Congress, he was pretty much in favor of raising the full retirement age up to 70 for perhaps everyone. But now he's saying that perhaps just for those people in their 30s and perhaps early 40s, for them we should be looking into raising the full retirement age up to 70 for them, because he's saying that perhaps people are living well into their late 80s now, perhaps even early 90s. We're living longer, hopefully at least, as time goes by. So he believes that people should have to perhaps delay their benefits. So let me know what your thoughts are on his viewpoints below. Should we be raising the full retirement age? Should we be keeping it the same? Or perhaps should we be looking to even lower it back to where it was before? Would love to hear your thoughts below. But as far as the polling goes for the Republican primary right now, Donald Trump is clearly the front runner according to pretty much every poll. So on average, Trump does have a 33.5 point lead. So it looks like Trump is going to run away with this one. But as far as other Social Security proposals go, of course, we have different ideas from the Democratic side. We have different ideas from the Republican side. So the Democrats, for example, like Patty Murray, she wants to make sure that, more people are paying into the Social Security Trust Fund. So in 2023, you only pay into the Social Security Trust Fund on the first $160,200 that you earn. She and other Democrats are arguing that, millionaires, multimillionaires should be continuing to pay into the trust fund with all this extra income, and we should make sure that any income either above $250,000 or $400,000 is taxed as well. That way we could pull more money into the trust fund and keep the Social Security Trust Fund solvent for a longer period of time. And hey, perhaps we could even increase benefits. So we're going to be playing a quick clip of Patty Murray and what she believes should happen with Social Security reform. Watch.
We could raise revenue and save Social Security by simply asking the rich to finally pay their fair share. And there's nothing new or radical about that. For decades, our federal tax code has said if you have a higher income, you will chip in more. The radical thing is that right now, Social Security actually works in the opposite way. If you make around $160,000 a year, you are paying the same amount into Social Security each year as a billionaire. Someone can make over 12,000 times your salary, and yet their Social Security tax rate is a fraction of what your rate is. Think about that. Billionaires are putting just half a cent of every $100,000 they make into Social Security. It should be totally uncontroversial to suggest that we find ways to increase Social Security's revenue in order to extend its solvency and to make the system a little more fair.
So Senator Murray there is saying that it's unfair that billionaires are pretty much done paying into the trust fund very early on in every year, that they should have to continue paying into the trust fund with all the income that they're making pretty much. Let me know what your thoughts are on that below. Now, on the flip side of things, of course, we have some Republicans like Ron Johnson saying that actually it's the very wealthy that really end up getting the bad side of the deal as far as Social Security goes. So according to Common Dreams, Senator Ron Johnson argues against rich paying fair share to ensure Social Security's survival. So U.S. Senator Ron Johnson came under fire Wednesday after the multimillionaire Wisconsin Republican asserted during a Senate hearing that Social Security, an economic lifeline for tens of millions of Americans who paid into the system throughout their working lives, unfairly takes from wealthier people to support lower income retirees. Johnson said, quote, "Most people think, well, that's my money. And in fact, part of it is," the senator continued. "If you're in a low income group, you're getting a lot more in return than you invested in. If you're in the high income, you're not getting what you paid in." So Johnson here is arguing basically that the very wealthy are not really getting enough in Social Security benefits, or at least compared to what they paid into the system over the years, whereas people who are earning less income and paying less into the trust fund are actually pulling more in, at least in the percentage of what they paid in. So obviously, Social Security is supposed to sort of be kind of like a lifeline for people. It's very, very much one of the most effective anti-poverty programs that we have. So let me know what your thoughts are below on what Senator Murray said versus what Senator Ron Johnson said. Now, of course, we also have numerous different data out there showing just how effective Social Security is and, just how little the very wealthy pay into the system. So according to a tweet sent out by ITEP, the poorest 20% of Americans paid 8.4% of their income towards taxes for Social Security and Medicare combined in 2022, while the richest 1% paid just 2.3% of their income. So you can see there on that chart just how little in percentage of the income the very wealthy pay. Of course, each and every year they are paying the maximum into the system. So you can see the data there. And then also on Tuesday, the Social Security Administration's Office of the Chief Actuary published an analysis showing how Democrats' Medicare Insolvency Fair Share Act could extend the Social Security's program's solvency for generations by increasing taxes on incomes of over $400,000 per year. So they made the very wealthy, those who earn millions of dollars every single year, continue to pay into the trust fund. We could make sure that the trust fund stays solvent for decades to come. That date of 2033 coming up, where we'd have to cut benefits by 20 to 25%, would no longer be a relevant thing. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Should we make sure that those earning above $250,000 or perhaps $400,000 per year continue to have to pay into the trust fund, or should we keep the system as they currently have it? Now, in some other news in regards to Social Security today, we do have some more payments going out to those at least with birthdays between the 11th and 20th of each month. These payments on average are going to be right around $1,800. So you can see the payment schedule up on the screen there in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see July 2023. So again, we had some payments go out on the 3rd of July, and then we also had some payments go out last week on July 12th. Those were going to those with birthdays falling between the 1st and 10th of any given month. And then again today, we have some more payments going out today on July 19th. Those again are going to those with birthdays falling between the 11th and 20th of any given month. And then next week on July 26th, we have the final payment going out. Those are going to those with birthdays falling between the 21st and 31st of any given month. And then as far as August goes, SSI recipients are going to be receiving their first payment since the month of June, where in June, SSI recipients actually received 2 payments. Those were on June 1st and June 30th. The June 30th payment was actually the payment for July. And then we have payments going out on August 3rd. Those August 3rd payments are going to those who received Social Security before May of 1997, or those who were receiving both Social Security and SSI. And then we have payments going out on August 9th, August 16th, and August 23rd. Again, it's going to depend on when your date of birth is. So that's the payment schedule for today through the end of August. And that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.